My husband will be recording this for me. Was Jesus Christ a socialist? There are many types of socialism. National Socialism supports the causes of Nazism, as well as Nazi doctrine and policies. Real socialism was favored by the Soviets. Currently, in the US, around 51% of people between the ages of 18 to 29 are in favor of or inclined towards socialism. Some studies showed a little less than that, and some studies showed a lot more than 50%. But on average, half of young adults were at least inclined towards socialism. Socialism is a broadly misunderstood concept that, understood, could bridge the ever-growing disconnect between capitalism and the working class. Our purpose for the next 7 minutes is to understand the pros and cons of socialism, its history, and its potential future in our society, because if the number of people in favor of socialism keeps growing, we may end up witnessing firsthand what socialism is. Disclaimer: outside of Google and YouTube videos, most of my research was found on the websites encyclopedia.com and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.org. First, I'm going to describe one general consensus pertaining to the definition of socialism, and then I will explain the different types of socialism. This was not an easy task because socialists have different ideas and perspectives, but the main goal that socialists are trying to achieve is more equality. Overall, I found the general definition of socialism was the control of the means of production, be it land or property, should be held by the community as a whole and administered in the interest of everybody. Now we are going to dive into the different types of socialism. Arab socialism is a political philosophy that advocates governmental and collective ownership of the means of production and distribution. This is the definition that most people think of when they think of socialism. Islamic socialism seeks a greater distribution of resources, but also wants to promote Islamic spirituality. So, as you can imagine, this form of socialism did not last long. Real socialism, as I mentioned before, favored by the Soviets, but is also called actually existing socialism and developed socialism. This favored politics over economics. Democratic socialism is similar to real socialism because it arose after the collapse of Soviet communism and focuses on government redistribution of wealth through taxation and also social protection. Thus far, socialism has been unsuccessful because it was trying to use governmental force. For some reason, socialists think that it is okay to force people to agree with their vision of socialism. So no matter what, there will always be those that fight against socialism because they were forced into a lifestyle that they did not agree with. Furthermore, logistics of who manages what and when and where have proven to be difficult. Is there a religious form of socialism? Was Jesus a socialist? From what I understand, the term Christian socialism arose in the 1850s and drew upon biblical precepts. For example, the Old Testament quote implied divine sanction of equal shares in the means of production and divine prohibition of private accumulation. End quote. The New Testament states that the rich should give to the poor. Other than that, anyone claiming that Jesus was a socialist does not have enough evidence to support those claims. In the Doctrine and Covenants student manual, socialism and the United Order are compared one with another. Some have suggested that the quote, some have suggested that the practice of the law of consecration and the system of the United Order are only a religious kind of socialism or communism. Others assert that it was a development either from the economic philosophies of Joseph Smith's day or from communal experiments within the new religion. Such assumptions are false. The prophet Joseph Smith attended a presentation on socialism in September 1843 at Nauvoo. His response was to declare that he did not believe the doctrine. End quote. In more recent times, Elder Marion G. Romney outlined the differences between socialism and the United Order. He informs us that the United Order acknowledges God as the author of the law of consecration, while socialism relies on the wisdom of men, not of God. The United Order relies on voluntary actions, but socialism uses external force. Furthermore, socialism deprives mankind of their agency, and the United Order exalts the poor and humbles the rich, but sanctifies both in the process. Utopian socialism came close to combining science and religion. It has been described as an organization that would make it possible for mankind to turn away from destructive politics and instead use religion to bring about social harmony. Unfortunately, advocates for this organization would too often blend prophecy and science, and the movement only flourished from about 1830 to 1848. Currently, in the U.S., around 51% of people between the ages of 18 to 29 are in favor of or inclined towards socialism. Socialism is a misunderstood concept that, if understood, could bridge the ever-growing disconnect between capitalism and the working class. I hope that you have been given enough information to help bridge this gap.